live. Hello, Lily Pals. Hello, hello. Tonight, we're having a little bit. we're going into a little bit spicy territory. A little zesty. So be prepared. I might say some things I might not normally say. Just because of the subject matter, but you know what? I may not be a lewd tuber, but I'm willing to have 18 plus discussions and such. So yeah, that's why I put up you know, a mature content thingy for this stream. Keep that in mind. Hopefully, no minors happen to come across my stream, good lord. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I got lots of napping done. However, I haven't eaten much, and so I might, there's a higher than 0 chance that I will end off stream quite hungry. I think the most I've had to eat today is just a bowl of Cheez-Its. Which, I mean, I like Cheez-Its. And I think the only thing I have to drink earlier today, as well as right now, is flavored sparkling water, huckleberry flavor. It's unique. I promise I'm okay. I will properly munch after stream. If it gets bad enough, I can just get another bowl of Cheez-Its, or maybe grab an apple. Honestly, I would have eaten something by now if I didn't get so much sleeping done. A lot more than I intended to. Not so much that I had to cancel stream though, thankfully. I'm happy to let that trend die out as necessary. I will, I promise. I'll get some like sandwiches, or maybe make some nuggies. Or we might have some pizzas in the freezer. I'll get proper foodies. Don't worry. Okay. Enough about foodies. It's time for monsters. Real food is a myth. Eat all the nuggies. Hi, Rui. Long time no see. Okay. Stream frogs. Let's see. I'll just have you both on my lap. Whoops. And as usual, while I have browser open, I won't always have chat visible, so. Okay. This MH tier list. Monster Hunter. Y'all might know, perhaps, possibly. I'm actually fairly experienced in the Monster Hunter series. And so I'm fairly knowledgeable about the various kinds of monsters throughout the series. Hello, Octavius! Good morn, good morn! The only exception is I'm not too familiar with any monsters out of Rise or Sunbreak, which are the most recent games, because I don't have a Switch, and the most of my experience is playing a demo off of Stellar and Jay's Switch when they came to visit me last year. So I don't know too many of the monsters, and so they're not gonna be featured on this tier list. No next to nothing about the MH series other than watching someone stream it a while ago and making dongos. Ooh. I want to try dongos. Okay, so for this list in particular, the way it's arranged, it features 4 games, World, but not Icebreak, sadly. Generations Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, and 3 Ultimate. Although it seems like the order is backwards based on the order of the icons, and the monsters are also arranged in alphabetical order between games. So like, you know, starting off with A in Tri-Ultimate, and then I think down to like right here is where For You comes into play, and then it starts off at A again and then proceeds like that. And as you could probably surmise from the mature content warnings, I'm just not gonna mince words here. This is a monster fucker tier list. How much I would let these monsters screw me. Let's not kid ourselves. And as such, I might change up a little bit of my speaking mannerisms appropriately, so keep that in mind. And of course, if you're underage, if you're under 18, get the hell out. You can't. No, bad. Go watch someone else. This is not for you. Go away. Oh god. Okay. As for the tiers themselves, it's pretty straightforward. Up at the top, we have Quest Failed, where I would intentionally fail my quests to die over and over in the attempts to be screwed by these monsters. There's Oh My, where, like, I look at them and, like, I might fan myself a little bit. Maybe, where, I'd have to think about it. No. It's just no. No, I don't like you. And then a unique category for Hoomst, in case there are any monsters that I can't recognize based on their icons. I think there might only be, like, a couple. You know, because these are games I'm mostly familiar with. And so, like, if I figure out who's who, then I'll rank them in the first 4, but if I can't figure them out, then they're gonna go in Whomst. Okay. Oh boy! I am going to take a quick drink. Let's get spicy. Starting off... Oh, by the way, these are only all the large monsters, so like there are no small monsters or like endemic life included in this list. I feel like that would be like way too much. Anyway, starting off with Try You, letter A, we have, I believe this is a Latrion. Starting off strong, an Elder Dragon, master of all the elements. Yeah, quest failed. Latrion's a hottie. Any dragon that has like an insta-death move, at least in World Icebreak, that's an A+ in my book. Also those horns, oh my. And of course she's a dragon, so... I'm feeling with no wiggler. I'm sorry. Okay. Next. By the way, as you all should know, I am very much a sapphic Froggy. I'm very much of the lesbian persuasion, so unless, like, there's explicit mention of, like, okay, this monster is specifically male, which I know there's at least one, just assume all the monsters are female. Which, that said, Crimson Fatalis. Like, the biggest bad, probably next to regular Fatalis. Well, no. It's the 3 Fatalis, big bads, starting off with regular Fatalis, then ascending to Crimson, and then ascending to White. But if we're starting off with Crimson, honestly, that asymmetrical head crest, it kind of does something for me. It's definitely flashy. Also the meteors. Meteors are fucking cool. I like meteors. Although very similar kind of fight to regular Fatalis as far as ground conflict goes. So I'm gonna put them in oh my. Sexuality, if I fits, I sits. Okay, next up, similarly hot and spicy, we got Dire Morales. Literally just a volcano dragon. I do appreciate the mindfulness to sometimes stay cool in the nearby lake, but I don't know, it's the kind of like the flowing lava tube wings I don't know, it seems a bit silly to me. Like it's trying to be Crimson Fatalis, but not quite reaching the mark. I get that it's another Elder Dragon, but I don't know, it's like, out of all the, like, mysterious, dark, evil Elder Dragon lineup, Dire Morales always struck me as, like, the least. Which isn't to say they're bad, but I don't know. Also, their, like, fight, in some semblances, is just Fatalis, but bigger. I'll put Morales in maybe. Okay, regular Fatalis. I mean, it's a classic dragon. Like, what? A classic fire-breathing dragon. She has her own castle. She raised and burned through the castle Shrade, which that's kind of hot, but I don't know. Out of the three Fatalis is the easiest to kill, which I think at least docks a single point. At least one. Hello, Oshio! Having her castle means that you could be a princess in distress. Ooh. Point taken. Okay, Fatalis gets that single point back. Also, I think, like, there's something inherently charming about just battling a regular-ass fire-breathing dragon in a series where there are various, like, types of dragons or dragon-like entities that are just a mess of different elements and design styles and fighting styles. It's like Fatalis is the baseline. And I think there's something appealing in that. I'm gonna put her in Oh My. Next up, we have Gogmazios. Gogmazios is a gigantic tar dragon. Has a Dragonator wedged into their back, which that's kind of metal. See, I'm not sure if I'm into the tar business. You know, it's like, usually fluids and such would be massively helpful in these sorts of situations, but I don't know, tar, it's like, it gets sticky, it gets messy everywhere, and it'll probably stain a whole lot of stuff. Not to mention, it's flammable, or at the very least very hot, and I'm not into pain stuff. Not a whole lot. That monster being easy to dominate sounds like a point in the Fatalis' favor, to be honest. True. This the Monster Hunter ranking thing you talked about? Yeah. But in a very specific context. Okay. Cognazios. I'm gonna have to pass on Gogmazios. Sorry, darling. Next up, we have the third and final Fatalis. We have White Fatalis. Definitely grown into a the MILF category, at least as far as dragons go. And instead of the regular fire and meteors, she settles for red lightning, which, that's fucking, that's good. That's, whew, I like that. Also, at least in, I think it was Generations Ultimate, she's able to, like, summon sort of like this vortex in the sky, and that's like, oh, baby. I issy likey. Yeah, who am I kidding? Quest failed. Okay, next up, we have our first regular large monster in the lineup. I think this is going into Tri-Ultimate now. We start off with Abyssal Lagiacrus, which, like, Lagiacrus is already awesome. But I'm also, like, super into, like, just kind of the lunar punk aesthetic. Or lunar core, I guess, as you would technically call it. Abyssal Lagiacrus, forever seaborn, or, you know, under, deep within the ocean depths, very bioluminescent, very zappy lightning, which, again, I'm not really into pain stuff. But I don't know, like, the black sheen on her abyssal scales and all the lightning patterns that streak across her body in the pitch black darkness. Ooh. Yeah, quest failed. Okay, I'm also just thinking this is probably going to be a similar result for the other Lagiacrus, because obviously this list includes, like, the base species as well as their subspecies, and so Lagiacrus is the base species, Abyssal Lagiacrus is a subspecies. I know there's also, like, different types of, like, subversive types of the monsters. Like, there's deviants or variants and stuff. We'll get into them when we get to them. Next up, we have Baleful Giganox. So, the thing about Giganox, I'm not sure if this applies to Baleful Giganox so much. I don't remember. Well, no, we'll get to regular Giganox, like, it's literally right here. Baleful Giganox. I don't know, the colors kinda don't do much for me. I'm not usually a fan of, like, lime green or, like, mossy green. Also, again, it's kind of a deal with, like, zappies. Also, if anybody knows Giganox's whole deal, they're sort of an offset of like Kezu, where, like, they're designed to be kind of creepy. You know, they crawl on walls, they live within dank caverns, low light conditions, and I know Giganox's whole deal is that they have a head and tail that look similar to each other. And so... I'm not quite sure what to think. Baleful Giganox. I guess, like, when I say, like, you know, the head and the tail are similar, it's that they both have holes of very similar structure, and so that could be a plus. On the other hand, I don't know, it's... I'm gonna put Baleful Giganox in the maybe, and just kind of leave it at that. Cedius. I think it would be kind of challenging, considering that Cedius is, essentially like a whale dragon. Obviously very aquatic. Might be hard to figure out the, the positioning, the logistics of getting it done. That said, Cedius is very beautiful, with the bioluminescent crests, spewing out a vortex of water, and those horns. Wowee. I think if we were both like really eager to get into it, we could figure something out. So Cedius is going in. Oh my. The logistics. Yeah, I'm gonna be factoring size in these rankings, so. Okay, next up we have Crimson Kurapeko. First off, big fan of the colors. It's very pretty. I also think the electric lodestones at the tips of her wings, that's really neat, very flashy. Not to mention, Kurapeko is also known for mimicry, and so, you know, making a myriad of interesting sounds in the middle of it all. Sometimes, depending on the noises, may actually invite another monster into the midst, and so, depending on my mood, you know, it's like, as far as these situations go, I tend to lean more into, like, I want to know what I'm getting into, you know, like, if I'm in the mood for surprises, I'll say so, you know, and so, I know every once in a while, you know, Kurapeko will also, like, hawk up some phlegmy fluid, usually to increase conductivity, either in electricity in the Crimson subspecies, or in the base species to fire, which again, I don't want to keep saying I'm not into pain stuff, but, like, I'm fully aware, like, virtually all of these monsters have some capacity to inflict pain. So I'll try not to keep saying it, but nevertheless. That said, Crimson Kurapeko, appearance-wise, I'm definitely feeling something there. I know normally I don't tend to gravitate towards, like, bird types, but I don't know. Kurapeko, Crimson Kurapeko she could probably call me sometime. With her beak. With her mimicry. So we'll see about that. Okay, regular Giganox. So here's the thing. Instead of zappies, I think it's like paralysis more than regular electricity in the baleful variant. The regular Giganox deals with poison, which, like, I don't know about you, I don't want to feel nauseous during Also, there's the whole egg sac thing. Like, Giganox is constantly laying egg sacs, where tiny little blood-sucking giggies hatch forth. And I'm not normally into egg stuff. I especially am not interested in, like, parenting, for lack of a better term. So, overall, I think regular Giganox is probably gonna be a no. Next up we have Glacial Agnactor, which, I mean, I love Agnactor, both regular and glacial alike. My dilemma is, I know I really hate the cold. You know, I made it clear in this channel that I am not much of a winter gal. Where there's a will, there's a way. You get me out. Less friction too. Okay. But yeah, obviously, Glacial Agnactor's whole thing is, you know, ice and being covered in ice as they burrow around ice caverns. And so, between her and regular Agnactor is just covered in lava, you know, and of course spews a heat beam. They're basically just temperature opposites, and so I have to think like which one I would honestly prefer more. Which I think if I had to pick between polar ice versus lava, I know I don't like the cold, but I think between the two, I would rather not deal with lava. Again, it's like I'm not into fire or burn stuff. Plus, I think it would be a bonus if, you know, if we're getting hot and steamy, you know, obviously the cold would help with that. And it could melt into water, which, I mean, it's not lube, but it's something. But also, I really like the sleek look of Agnactor, and so I think for Glacial Agnactor, I would say I would say oh my. I'll be generous. Thank you for the lurk, demonic. Not the fun kind of heat, sadly. Yeah, you get it. Okay, next up we have Gobble. Big anglerfish. Pufferfish. Right off the bat, I gotta say, it's not looking promising. Very toothy, I gotta say. very toothy. There's not much going on as far as body is going. Like, Gobble is obviously much more mouth than anything else. Also, the bioluminescent bulb is capable of flashing, which I don't like. I have the autism. I'd rather not deal with overly bright sights at any point. Also, the body barbs just everywhere. No. No, I'd rather not get stabbed at any point. Even worse, the tail barbs will paralyze, so no. Just unappealing all around. Anyway, now we have Golden Cedius. For the most part, it's pretty similar to regular Cedius. I would say even more brilliantly colored. And I know regular Cedius, their horns are asymmetrical, which I always think is neat, whereas in Golden Cedius they retain their symmetry. As far as mechanics go, I don't think they're actually that much different. I think, like, Golden is just, like, a little tougher. Similar size, still very aquatic. Yeah, I'll put them in the same category. Okay, next up we have Great Baggy, the first of the dromes, or greats in this case. I don't know. I think Great Baggy can be fun just to kind of, like, mill around and hang out with. I don't know if I'm open to screwing, though. I know one damper is that, you know, their spittle can make you drowsy, which, I don't know, in a couple of ways that could kind of make me uncomfortable. And so, on the other hand, as far as the dromes go, I think Baggy does have a pretty sleek look. That said, there are probably better dromes to pick from, though. It's gonna be a no from me. Next up, we have another great in Great Jaggy. Kind of a baseline dinosaur, just all things considered. Like, no real elemental powers to speak of, just kind of big, bulky. I do like the frill. I guess another part is that they also constantly hunt in packs, which, if we talked about it, you know, I could be open to that. I don't know, it's just there's not a whole lot to Jaggy, I don't think. So I think Jaggy is gonna fit in the maybes. Hi, Amy! Fun is definitely a way to describe it. Okay, next up, we have Great Froggy, which sounds like Froggy, which, that's already a point in my favor. I gotta say, I do like the throat sack, the big inflatable sack. I think it would be really soft and kind of squishy and fun to play around with. That said, it is filled to the brim with poison, which again, I'd rather not feel nauseous amidst anything. So maybe if I could communicate my boundary with that. Yeah, well, we'll put them in maybe. Up next we have green Nargacuja, which, first and foremost, yes, that is how I pronounce it. Don't at me. Green Nargacuja, for the most part, strikes me just as a regular Nargacuja, but just with an alternate color palette and slightly different, like, attack orientation. It's kind of boring to me. And like I said earlier, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, kind of lime mossy greens as far as colors go. And so, yeah, I think I'll have to give the pass on green. Green Narga. And then next we have green Plesioth, which... oh boy, Plesioth. Very sharky. Not much of a difference between regular and green. I mean, so here's the thing. Very sharky obviously implies that a very toothy maw. So that's not, I'm not big into that. Also, I did say with Glacial Ignactor that, you know, any inclusion of water would be something. You know, it's not quite lube, but it can help to an extent. It's not terribly long-lasting. But in Plesioth's case, far too much water at far too concentrated of a point. Super high pressure water jet, which, I mean, that would just, like, slice right through me, honestly, and I don't know if I'd be into that. And of course, when fighting a Plesioth, the hip checks are always atrocious, but in this context, I don't know. And I guess I would have to say, between green and regular Plesioth, I would find the green palette honestly a little more appealing. You know, because it's more of like an emerald green, or like sort of like a sea green. And that's the kind of green I'd go for much more. And so green Plesioth, I guess I'll put in a maybe. It doesn't look promising for regular Plesi, though. Okay, next up, we have the subspecies for Chen Moran, which I forget what it's called. I do like the color. I do like the shining, glistening purple. That said, Chen Moran is absolutely enormous. You know, like, we thought that Cedius was whale size. Chen Moran is actually whale size. And so, I don't know how feasible it would be. The question is, for this one would I at least like to try? At least once. I guess considering that this subspecies is, like, it has all, like, the pleasant, like, glistening nighttime colors of, like, violets and blues, and obviously littered with crystals on their back, and so, you know, it's shiny, but not to an unpleasant degree. You know, unlike Gobble's flashing angler. And so, but I want to at least try once. I will say that what both Gen Morans have in common is that they are both sand swimmers, and so, you know, the loose sand, dirt, and gravel might be kind of unpleasant. I guess that said, now that I'm thinking about it, you know, I know I said that size would kind of be a problem, but in this instance, you could literally just climb all over her. In any which way you could squirm around on. So I guess I'll put, I wish I remembered what the subspecies was called, but this Gen Moran, we'll go in oh my. Okay, Ivory Lagiacris. It's another Lagiacris. I love Lagiacris. Obviously, color-wise, kind of the opposite of Abyssal, where it's land-based and has a very light coat, which, I don't know, I still kind of go for it. Kind of like laser light show, honestly, and in a little bit of a regard. So, I don't know. I don't think it would necessarily beat Abyssal, but I enjoy some Ivory. I would certainly. Just think of the sand as an exfoliating massage. Ugh. I don't know about that. Okay, next we have, I think it's just called Ice Baroth. I gotta open up, like, the Monster Hunter wiki or something so I can get some of these names right. I'll just have it on standby. Large monsters. Is it included? We have regular Baroth. Oh, it's Jade Baroth. Okay. Nevertheless, still dealing with ice once more. Although, compared to Glacial Ignactor, it's more like a slush. You know, kind of... It's either like kind of a loose, kind of... yeah, just mainly like loose snow slush, which... I mean, if it's filled to the brim with dirt, then slush is just kind of gross. But obviously I'm a sucker for like blues and cool colors. And that is a very impressive head crest. Let me think. Oh, I also remember that compared to regular Baroth, Jade Baroth is actually capable of breaking through, if I'm thinking of Tri-Ultimate, breaking through the barrier into a secret area on the map. And so, you know, Jade Baroth has sort of a pad that no one else can access. And so that's kind of a plus. Let's just say, if she did a good job, like, keeping the slush clean for the most part, we can talk. We can talk. Regular Jan Moran. Speaking of, I want to know what the subspecies is called. Hallowed Jan Moran. That's, yeah. I feel like I made a good choice. Free shaved ice tree after the deed. True. Okay. Regular Jin Moran. I gotta say, probably not quite as interesting as Hallowed. It's basically just Jin Moran, but without any of the stuff that pulls me in, without any of the, like, colors or the intrigue. Which means, you know, kind of sandy, kind of brown, gravelly. There's a few crystals here and there, but they're not nearly as, like, I guess refined as Halloweds are. Also has a tendency of, like, shooting up dirt and mud whenever kind of agitated. And so, again, I'm not really into the dirt and the mud stuff. So overall, I would have to pass. Sorry. Okay, Lucent Nargacuja. We are talking a feline-like pseudo-wyvern. Very agile, very flexible, glowing eye trails, gorgeous. I'm a big fan. And Lucent in particular has the ability to turn invisible, which I think that would be really interesting. And of course the colors themselves, like, very silvery against the moonlight. It's very pretty. When she decides to be visible. Yeah, I think this all culminates in, quest failed. Okay, Purple Ludroth. So, conceptually, I think Ludroth is pretty promising in these scenarios. You know, the big, squishy mane, it's all spongy. But again, it's the same problem where in Purple Ludroth's case, it's filled with poison. That said, I do like how, you know, the purple mane, I kind of like how it contrasts with the rest of its body, kind of in the color palette wise. And so, I'll say this. I would be good to watch. I don't know if I would want to participate. So I guess technically that would go to no. Okay, up next we have regular Kurapeko. Virtually kind of the same as Crimson Kurapeko, except instead of zappies, it's with flames, and instead of red and blue, it's like red, green, and a little bit of purple. Again, very colorful, very interesting palette, and I'm not counting like the orange bits on the feet or the beak. Again, I'm not quite going for the green personally, but you know, it's basically all around the same deal as with Crimson, so I'll stick her in Oh My. Rusty Duramboros, or Rusty Dobo for short. Dobo, I think Dobo's kind of cute. In just kind of like a, obviously I'm a lesbian, but cute in like a himbo way. You know, big, bulky, loves to spin. And of course, it's always fun to watch him munch on some veggies and tree bark. For Rusty, though, Rusty mainly thrives in deserts, and so a lot of like the plant stuff is substituted for sand and mud, which you know how I feel about that. Yeah, I love Dobo, but it'll just have to be like, I think you're cute in a puppy way. Sandberry off. Right off the bat, not promising. Another sort of feline-like wyvern. Saberteeth, which I think are cool. I think the colors are very striking, like a very sunset sort of range of reds and oranges. It's really cool. And as with any Barioth, capable of whipping up tornadoes, the big problem, again, is that it's all sand. And I can't say I'm all much into sand. And so... That said, I do know that regular Barioth deals with ice. And I've already mentioned I don't tend to enjoy the cold very much. So I think it ultimately depends on the day. I'm gonna stick Sandberryoth in maybe. And that's probably the most generous I could get with any, well, no. The most generous would be Oh My. Looking at you, Hallowed Moran. But yes, Sandberryoth will be likely one of the lucky ones. Up next we have the Uragon subspecies, whatever it's called. Looking it up. I think it's, yeah, Steel Uragon, which, that sounds cool. I think Uragon overall just looks kind of silly. You know, very big chin, like chin so big it mallet ground, which I just think it's silly. Also, I think like the array of spines that line along its back, I think they're mainly like minerals, but I don't know, it's like it doesn't arrange in a way that interests me all that much. As far as steel Uragon in particular goes, it's probably going to be a no, because I know for certain that steel Uragon releases some absolute stank. Like stanky fumes, and like, you know, maybe there's a degree where I can ah! Oh my goodness! Iris? Arisa? Arisa! Hello, hello! Hi! Union Row Raid! We just call you Iris. Okay. Okay. Welcome in, Iris. Hello, Iris's crew. Hello, hello. What were you up to? I hope you had a great stream. Over here, we are in the Froggy corner. I am your beloved Issy. I stream every Monday and Friday. I'm a variety streamer. Right now, I am doing a Monster Hunter tier list. Playing Slime Rancher 2 is so much fun. Ooh! I've played the first Slime Rancher. I haven't had a chance to play the second. I want to give it a try, if I ever get the muns for it. But I'm glad it was fun. I love Slime Rancher. Anyway, yeah, feel free to do any after stream care that you have to do. Go get munchies, go sleep, go get drinks, get cozy, anything you gotta do. I understand. Thank you so much for loading your community to the Froggy Pond. Basically the first game, but more. I see. Anyway, I am doing a Monster Hunter tier list. It's a little bit more unhinged than I normally do, because it's explicitly a monster fucker tier list. Great stream. Be back later if I recover in time. Yo, good lurk. Much appreciate the raids. I will care for your peeps to the best of my ability. But yeah, I'm basically doing a Monster Hunter tier list on how much I would want these monsters to screw me. So quite an interesting choice that you decided to raid me tonight. Anyway, I was pontificating on Steel Uragon and the absolute stank that he's been known to release. I was gonna say there's probably like a degree to where I can tolerate that kind of stuff. I wouldn't want to test that out with this roly chin. Not even the colors can really salvage Steel Uragon in my eyes. It's too much. Okay, up next we got a Cantor. Very interesting. doesn't necessarily deal with lava, but, you know, tends to take a dip in lava pretty frequently. Very, very toothy, very spiky, but at the same time, it's like they're like glistening black scales, and like that's really cool, especially complemented with the lava oranges, and sort of like that bright orange whenever he gets aggressive, like his belly turns in a more intense orange. That said, they do have the they do have a scream attack that is instant death, and it would probably kill me even harder. You know, again, it's, you know, the whole autism sensory deal, like really testing the extent of my misophonia. And so, I like a Cantor, don't get me wrong, but I think I only enjoy a Cantor in battle, so that's probably gonna be a no. Okay, up next, I think we're getting into the 4 ultimate monsters now. Starting with Ashen Kechawacha. Monkey. Monkeys are cool. I'm alright with monkey. Although, Kechawacha is kind of an oddball. You know, using your ears to shield your face, that's a neat trick. Deals with fire, which, you know, I'm not too into. Hangs from vines, also has like little flaps of skin capable of gliding, which that's kind of neat. A trunk, which, you know, there's possibilities with that, but I don't know. That said, Ashen Kechawacha has a deep blue going on, which y'all know I like my blues. If we can set aside the fire stuff, I'm thinking maybe I'll give her a shot. Basarios. So, baby rock dragon. Just no. 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 There's nothing. No. All, like, primarily composed of a rocky body, and it's almost all of it is jagged. It's like, no. 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 There's no part of it that's pleasant in my mind. Anyway, subspecies Tetsukabra. What is it called? Tetsu. Berserk Tetsukabra. Windows. Berserk Tetsukabra. First of all, Froggy. That's a big advantage. On the other hand, molten rocks. Although I don't think I don't think Berserk Tetsu actually, like, causes the fire. It's just with the big excavating tusks, just digs out really hot rocks. I think that's mainly it. I think they also... Actually, I think they do spew a gas that's incredibly hot and will result in fire blight, so maybe fire, but I don't know. Generally kind of mixed feelings about Berserk Tetsu. I do like fighting Tetsus. I do like their fights. It's just, I don't know. I think I might be more drawn to the regular Tetsu as opposed to Berserk. I do like that Berserk... I do like what's going on with the colors a little bit, where it's a little more varied. I'll go with the maybe. Just maybe. Okay, Black Gravios. Basarios grew up. That said, the whole deal with the jagged rock skin thing across every inch of their body, that's still a thing, and that would still be a problem. Also, Gravios is known to hang around a lot of, like, really super hot areas, just casually bathing in lava. I would imagine the black subspecies would probably frequent the lava pools more frequently. That's my first thought. I don't know. Gravios has never really appealed to me that much, so I think that's gonna be a pass from me. Blue Kutku! Blue Yen Kutku! I like Kutku. Silly bird dragon. The frills are neat. I think abilities-wise, they're virtually no different from a regular Kutku. I think really the only advantage they do have is the colors, which, I mean, it's a very nice sort of like sea green, even though it's called blue. And I gotta say, whenever they fish up for, what are they called? The little roly-poly buggy things, that's like their main source of food. I do like watching them like crack open, like dig up and, well, I don't know about crack open actually, they just kind of swallow them whole, which that's kind of metal in its own regard. So, Blue Kutku, yeah, I'll give Blue Kutku a chance. Brachydios! Slime Boy! Explodey Slime Boy! Again, it's like... I know I said I'm not normally into, like, mud, or any sort of dirty slush, or more like tar, I guess. I think that's the best comparison, is with tar. It's kind of sticky, and so I can't really imagine it would help with a whole lot. That said, Brachydios is very assertive. quite attractively so. And I will get this out of the way. I'm not really sure I'm so much into fisting, but but if anybody else is, Brachydios, you can give them your number. I gotta say, the slime, not only is it, you know, slimy, gooey, it also explodes when separated from their body, and so I can't imagine too many good scenarios out of that. But I don't know, just a dominant, like, boxer type, like, I'm gonna go maybe. Overall, I think I'm gonna go maybe. I mean, yes, Stellar? Okay, up next we have Brute Tigrex. I think probably my favorite Tigrex subspecies. Even though there's not really a whole lot to them. I know, similar to a Cantor, we'll really be testing out my eardrums with just piercingly loud roars. But I don't know, it's like, I think between a Cantor and Tigrex, I always thought it was a little bit cooler coming out of Tigrex, especially Brute Tigrex, where they create like a wind vortex just with the sheer volume of their roar. And it's like, oh my god, that's awesome! I also really love the, kind of like the darker black stripes deal going on. Brute Tigrex is just so cool. Also, Tigrex has a reputation for being, quite ravenous. And so, let's hope I'm kind of scrumptious. Spike Boys. I love a monster who can kick my ass. Yeah. Cephadrome. Sand Shark. I'm not impressed by sand. I'm not too impressed by shark. Shark Lady, maybe, but just Sand Shark? No. Also, I think they have, like, barbs in their underbelly, where if you get poked, I can't remember if it's either paralysis or it puts you to sleep, which, I mean, I see problems with both. Chameleos. We finally get another Elder Dragon. Chameleos. Chameleos is weird. So similar to Lucent Nargacuja, can essentially turn invisible, although it's specifically by means of chameleon camouflage. Otherwise, let me think. I do know they tend to spew out like a mist that can sort of help out with the camouflage business, and like, I don't know, I think that would be kind of cool, kind of neat. You know, doing stuff in the mist. That said, they do have the capacity for poison, and even though, you know, being a chameleon dragon, naturally they have a long tongue. However, that tongue is very adept at just stealing things from you that you're holding on to. Like, I don't feel like Chameleos would be, like, honestly engaged. Also, I just think Chameleos is kind of ugly. It's kind of a weird-looking tail, too. It's like kind of fan umbrella shaped, but then at the very tip you got a tiny little chameleon tail curl business going. It's like, what is going on with you? Yeah, I don't think Chameleos would really be into it. I don't think I would be into Chameleos, so no. Chaotic Gormagala. I mean, if any of these monsters has to be the big titty goth girlfriend, it has to be Gormagala. And then, like, Chaotic Magala is like half part gore, part Shigaru, which, like, it's a maturity thing. You know, like, starts off as gore and then sheds all the black scales to become Shigaru. And then Chaotic is where they tried to shed, but didn't make it all the way. Let's see. So, the Magalas in general, I think, are really, really cool. The only issue I would have is kind of the obvious issue with the frenzy virus that they naturally carry everywhere they go. You know, where basically if you succumb to infection, your body loses the ability to regenerate, like at the cellular level. That's a huge bummer. That would probably be catastrophic to one's physical, medical well-being. And so it might be just a classic case of, like, a love that is never meant to be. That said, if that wasn't the issue, we're talking, like, wings that taper and stretch to look like a cape. And, like, oh, oh, I love me a goth girl. And also, like, I think the disorganization evident in a chaotic Magala super appealing. So yeah, I think I would have to fit you up into quest failed. Talk about going out with a bang. I love you. Okay, Congalala. Monkey. I think the pink fur is cute. And I think the inflared nose turning red, their big nose, their big schnoz, I think that's cute. But it has a similar issue to Steel Urgon, where, like, weapons grade stank. And so it might be probably the most necessary use of a butt plug that I could probably think of. So, honestly, yeah, I'm not even joking at this point. Like, if we include a butt plug, I'm open to it. Also, there would probably be points for good like aftercare, good post-session snuggles, a big belly, soft fur, nice and warm. I will say I'd probably have to be careful of the claws, though. I don't mind a little bit of scratching, but like if you're drawing blood, you know, I'll have to draw the line. Okay. Darren Moran, similar to Jen Moran, I think if we're comparing the monsters to whales, you know, because they're whale-sized, Jen Moran is more like a humpback, and Darren Moran is more like a sperm whale. Which, in spite of that, I think, I don't know. Again, there's the whole size issue, but I think whereas Jen Moran kind of had, like, at least the tusks are cool, and then Darren kind of goes with a single head crest, which can be cool. And I don't know, it's like, you don't really see tusks too much in a lot of these monsters. Like, real tusks. Overall, I can't find too much appeal with Darren versus Jen. Even though, you know, even though I refused regular Jen, at least Hallowed has something going for them. Also, if I remember right, they literally sprout and shoot giant earthy spikes out of their back, which, I mean, I had different ideas of getting pinned, but yeah. So I think that's gonna be negatory. Up next we have Daimyo Hermitor. Crab. Is a crab. I gotta say, speaking as a Cancer myself, I'm not too impressed by crab. I think it would be very rough and rather unpleasant. Yeah, I don't find too much interest in regular Hermitor, at least. It's a bit too much rough play for me. I'm delicate. Okay. Next, a monster that has two icons because they are so dang big. We have Dalamadur. Yes. Double yes. We're talking yes, they are whale size, for lack of a better description, but they are serpentine. Giant snake. And also, like, the really sharp, sleek protrusions and spikes along their tail and their back. It's like, oh, that's so cool. It's giant snake. Ma'am, please. Okay, next we have a desert celtis, another bug or arthropod. I'm kind of picky when it comes to my arthropods. I think I gotta say, first off, Celtis, distinctly male, so I don't think so. Also, the fact that they're desert and just surrounded by sand, having a tendency to burrow, no, I'm not into it. Celtis Queen, well, Desert Celtis Queen. Tough call. I don't remember much about Desert Celtis Queen. I know she girl bosses really hard, as all Celtis Queens do. You know, well, feel free to just launch her mate if she feels it's appropriate. Also, the desert varieties in particular, no qualms about just launching the Desert Celtis like a torpedo straight into their death as soon as they smack into a wall, which, like, okay, that's yeah, regular Celtis Queen don't do that. But again, there's the sand. It always comes down to the sand. I think she's such a girl boss. I have to at least consider. Just at least consider. I have to do her that much justice. Okay, Emerald Congalala. A little bit extra points for the coat. I think the green looks actually very good on Congalala, on Big Monkey. But they share the same problem. It's weapons grade stank. So again, it'll be similar. I think higher than regular Congalala, but again, it's like butt plug or nada. Furious Rajang. See, as I said, I'm delicate. I think Furious Rajang would be really wild. Too wild for my blood, I think. And I think the same would be said of regular Rajang too. You know, we're talking the baboon that goes Super Saiyan. Just I'd be far too nervous I would be much more nervous than I would be horny. Gendrome? I know I complimented Barioth's saber teeth, but for Gendrome it just looks dumb. And also a paralyzing bite. I don't know. Kind of raptor-like, at the very least. Like, in theory, I could get into raptors. As is the case for Jaggy and Froggy. But Gendrome, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Golden Rathian. A gold fire-breathing wyvern. I would have to be careful of her tail. You know, poisonous barbs and whatnot. But a lot of fire, a lot of fireworks, shimmering gold sheen. Bow down to the queen. And then we have regular Gormagala. Yep. I love me a goth lady. Regular Gravios. No. I have no interest in the rock stuff. You know, if maybe like situate yourself around like much smoother rocks. I don't know enough about rocks to be able to know which ones are inherently smooth. But yeah, smooth rocks, then maybe we'll talk. Grey Jaggy is here a second time, apparently. Gypceros. Gypceros is kinda uggo. I know, I think I share this in common with a lot of other hunters. The first thing I think of when I look at Gypceros is a turkey, and like, I don't know, I don't find much appeal in turkeys unless it's munch time. Poison and flash. Also has a tendency to play dead, which that kind of makes me uncomfortable. Gypceros is just not a good choice all around. Iodrome. Iodrome. I do like their look. I like their head crest, and you know, I think they have a pretty red coat of red scales. That said, they spew poison to a lesser extent than Froggy does, though. So I think Iodrome might be, insofar, the champion of the dromes, as I stick them in. Oh my. Ketchawacha! Monkey. The trunk monkey. And unlike Ashen Ketchawacha, instead of spewing fire, they spew water. Which, I mean, that's a plus. A little bit, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I... Yeah, I'll put Ketcha in oh my. Kezu. So I mentioned Kezu back when I brought up Giganox. You know, Giganox is a deal where, like, they try to be creepy, but I think they're just kind of cool in a weird way. Kezu is... Heck, it's Kezu. Kezu is just uncomfortable to look at. Just to look at. You know, they're totally blind. They got the zappy zap. I mean, on one hand, it's like, to a lay person, they would seem like an attractive option because, you know, they would be very reminiscent of a sheathed penis. But like, there's teeth at that end. It's very toothy. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like Kezu. Lagombi. It's bunny time. Bunui. Snowbunui. And they slide around on their belly. It's all cute. They do throw snowballs, which I don't like the cold. But ices. we made the point of, you know, icy treats in aftercare, and I think that would be quite nice. And it's ice, so technically it would be hydrating as well. I love bunny. I love bunny. Big fuzzy bunny and a big belly. Oh yeah. Molten Tigrex. I think Molten Tigrex, for the most part, is kind of just like Brute Tigrex, except trying too hard. Bigger, meaner, a similarly piercing roar, very, very tough skin, which I don't know if that would necessarily be pleasant. So, I'm also trying to think. Oh yeah, I think Molten Tigrex also, like, you know, they scratch and scrape their claws on the ground, their front claws. It puffs, it shoots up blast powder, which is like the exploding slime of Brachydios, except it's powder. And no, I'd rather not deal with that. I'd still like Tigrex, though. A decent amount. Obviously, they're not amongst my favorites, but, yeah, you know, it's like, just chill out a bit. Don't try so hard. Just be yourself, and then we'll talk. Okay, Monoblos. Monoblos is interesting because the lore is that they're an endangered species. So that would be interesting on its face. At the same time, well, I also think another plus is that their head, their horns, their crest, very reminiscent of Styracosaurus, and I think that's really cool. Monoblos is just really cool. I am sad that Monoblos doesn't make more appearances in other games, but it's understandable, you know, endangered species. That said, I think the beak might cause some issues. Also, they're a desert beast. That means sand. And I'm not too big a fan of sand. I can't imagine it just not being super uncomfortable. But for Monoblos, it's a maybe. It's just a maybe. What's their name again? It's been a while. I think it starts with an Naharala. Naharala, that's it. Similar situation as Dalamadur. Big long snick. Not nearly as long, but not nearly as large. Not nearly as cool either. They have a beak and they have fangs. I don't know how that works. I don't know why that's necessary. Also, they shed their scales, which allows, like, explosions of the sonic variety. And again, it's like, it would be testing my autistic misophonia. And so on one hand, snick. On the other hand, loud. Also a paralyzing bite, but it's a snake. That's kind of par for the course. Loud snake. Oh. If I'm allowed to bring some earmuffs, then maybe. Nursilla! We got our first spider. Although, I don't know. I think Nursilla is actually kind of charming. I mean, first of all, webs. And just a little secret, I'm... I kind of enjoy being restrained, so that's a definitive plus. Her jaws do stretch out and can deliver a poisonous bite, but I feel like, you know, spider, that's not terribly unusual. Let's see. She also knows how to swing around really fluidly on those webs. Big long legs. And she has like a little dance too whenever she walks. She strikes me as like somebody who's trying to be like all cool and edgy, but just comes off as an adorable dork. Just a super cute dork. And that's why I like Nursilla. I think I'm gonna place her in Oh My. The Kirin subspecies. I can't remember what it's called. Oroshi Kirin. It's a unicorn. Unicorn. Do I have any bronies in chat? So I really like Kieran. Very graceful, very beauteous. And as for Orochi, like, the black coat is incredibly appealing. That said, it substitutes lightning for ice. And y'all know how I feel about the cold. It's like, between aftercare ice treats or like a laser light show, I like, I don't know, I find more appeal in lightning as far as, you know, mid-session goes. It's more interesting. And that said, Orochi Kieran is, like any other Kieran, incredibly pretty, and the dark colors appeal to my gothic tastes. Yeah, why not? I'll give them a chance. Up next we have Plum Hermitor, bigger than regular Hermitor, although not a whole lot is different. It's just a blue crab, purple crab. Obviously I like my cooler colors, but it's still a crab. It'd still be uncomfy. Yeah, no. Purple Gypceros, pretty much the same, except the poison is worse. And so that's just a straight up no. Raging Brachydios. So, compared to regular Brachydios, the slime hardly even remains as slime. You know, throughout the entire encounter with Raging, it just explodes on contact, which, to be fair, regular Brachydios' slime will also explode on contact if Bracky is angry, but for Raging, it's just constant. And I gotta say that probably docks points a little bit because I'm a delicate little gay froggy. So yeah, I would be too nervous. Up next we have regular Rajang. I don't know, like, even regular Rajang might be too wild for me. I do like the horns. The horns are neat. And I think there's at least some novelty. Actually, no, I have that backwards. There's arguably more novelty to Furious Rajang, because they're Super Saiyan all the time. But I think I would prefer if, like, Super Saiyan mode was just like a once in a while thing. Like, I think that keeps it fresh. That's it. It's just Rajang is very, very rough. I don't want to end a session feeling like I've I don't know, it's like obviously we keep saying, you know, we love women, we love monsters that can kick our ass, but it's like, I don't know, with Rajang I don't feel that primal urge to, like, want them to kick my ass. Like, just kind of uncomfy, just kind of apprehensive at all times. So I think it's gonna be a no. No, it's too much. Too much and not quite in the right style. The front flips, you know, the air rollies are a neat trick, but any Rajang can do that. Red Khezu. I know abilities-wise, Red Khezu is basically the same as regular. But is the red coat a plus or not? I have to think about it. I would say, I think, the red coat. The red coat is more appealing, but because it's Khezu, that's not really saying much. So, like, just above regular Khezu. Ruby Bessarios. So I know I said that I tend to like my shiny crystals, but Bessarios is still made of rocks, jagged rocks, and is technically still a baby, so no. Rusted Kushla Daura, a metal elder dragon. Metallic elder dragon. Rusted over from a little bit of age. Highly proficient with wind, which I will say, at least in theory, sex in flight sounds like a really interesting pursuit to me. Like, I'd honestly be open to doing stuff like underwater, or at least like in water, to which, in some measure, like doing it in the middle of the air, in the wind, it would sound similar in principle, as long as, like, gravity doesn't play too hard a role. And I know, like, swimming through air is a lot more difficult than through water, but it's an interesting idea to me. I would say I'd be open to trying it at least once. But would I try it with a dragon whose metal coat is all rusted over? I don't know if that rusty texture would really sit well with me. I'll have to pass on that. Savage Devil Joe. So for starters, Devil Joe naturally produces saliva that is just straight up corrosive. And, you know, like, similarly to Tigrex, is infamous for being an absolute glutton. You know, it tries to eat virtually anything it can fit its jaws around. And then Savage Devil Joe is where, like, their dragon breath glands just have gone all out of whack. And so it results in heightened aggression and, you know, a wider field of dragon breath. I think... So even though monsters like Steel Urgon or Congalala will weaponize their stank, I feel like Devil Joe would still like harbor a natural, like, unpleasant odor, but it's like, it's not bad enough to be weaponized, but it's still unpleasant. And, you know, the corrosive bits probably don't help. That said, Savage Joe is really cool, if a little bit edgy. I might have to pass. Okay, we're on to regular Celtis. Just a flying bug. I'm not terribly impressed. Celtis Queen. We all love a Celtis Queen. Where did I... Oh, I put Desert Celtis Queen in, maybe. So I know that, I don't know if this... I don't remember if this is true for both species of Celtis, but I do know that, Celtis Queen may release, pheromones in order to attract a Celtis, in order to weaponize, you know, just kind of turn him into her thrall mid-battle. And the pheromones themselves can be kind of stank. But would they be stank to me? The way I think about it is, I think it's partly to do with my autism, where sometimes, like, certain stinky odors are not as bad to me as others. Like, this might be a bit TMI, but, actually, no. I would say, like, maybe, like, the smell of fish. The smell of fish doesn't really bother me that much, whereas, like, like, maybe Axe body spray, like, something super chemical, and it's like, ugh. Like, I'm not receptive to that. The tetanus would be worth it, trust me. For rusted Kushla. That's funny. I mean, at least I've had my shots first. But yeah, all that to say, I'm not sure if Celtis Queen pheromones would be all that bad to me. I mean, there would only be one way to find out. And, you know, frankly, I'd be pretty happy if... I'd be pretty happy to learn it from Celtis Queen. Seregios! Seregios kinda scares me. The whole deal with Seregios is that they shoot out and release their scales, which are razor sharp. So sharp that, you know, just mere contact puts you at risk of just bleeding out. which I should probably say this. Blood is a bit of a turn-off for me. I gotta be real. I like fighting Seregios. Seregios is fun. It's just in this circumstance, I can't picture it as anything other than disastrous. I would probably be dead by the end from blood loss. So, sad to say, I probably wouldn't. Which is sad because I like Seregios. Anyway, Shigaru Magala. So, you might be expecting that since, you know, Shigaru has shed all the goth black scales and stuff, that I might be less interested. But here's the thing. These scales shimmer, and Shigaru knows it. Like, Shigaru will simply just fly up into the sky, just hang in midair, and just splay their wings like a shining star. And like... Yeah, yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Of course the frenzy virus is still a problem, but... Also, I guess, like, kind of for superficial reasoning, Shigaru is considered an Elder Dragon, whereas Gormagala is not. And I think, like, the title of Elder Dragon just lends to the appeal. Also, their wings can effectively function as, like, another pair of arms. And if you've seen the stature of any of the Magalas, those arms are perfect for pinning down. And so, yes. Quest failed. Next up we have Shah Dalamadur. Yes. First off, snake. First off, big. Third off, cool. Fourth off, shiny. Gold and shiny. Next up we have Shrouded Nursilla. I don't immediately remember, like, status-wise, the difference between Shrouded and regular Nursilla. I do know that Shrouded obviously gets its name from cloaking herself in her webs, which, come to think of it, I think regular Nursilla does too, actually. I do know that Shrouded Nursilla does roam around in the desert, so sand to contend with. I'm gonna put her in maybe. Okay, Silver Rathalos. So we know that Rathian is explicitly female. Rathalos is explicitly male. That said, Rathalos is really fucking cool. And like, Silver Rathalos, shiny, king of the skies. Poisonous talons, so the pinning down might be less than pleasant. Sleepy time. Good luck with our stream, baby. Night night, Jay. Sweet dreams. Oh man, it's already getting late. Maybe I should have started earlier. Let's see. Should I do a lightning round? Okay, Silver Rathalos. Oh my. Stygian Zinogre, a dragon wolf. Conceptually sounds cool. I don't know. The stature kind of throws me off, though. It reminds me of like a big, buff, like bodybuilder dude, and I'm like, if it's a woman, that's one thing, but it specifically reminds me of like a typically like masculine physique, of the beefy kind. And like, I don't know. Let's go with maybe. Tetsukabra, Rock Frog. Yeah, I think I'd give Tetsu a try. Naharala subspecies. What is it called? Tidal Naharala. That's right, because it's involved with water. It still has the same like problems with the loud sounds, but you know, I like the colors more and the involvement with water. I think I'm more flexible. Again, if I were to bring earmuffs, if I were allowed to bring earmuffs, Tidal Naharala, yeah. I think it's tiger-striped Zamtrios? Zamtrios is really, really silly. Like, really funny guy. You know, like, part shark, part frog. That's capable of bloating its belly to a ridiculous extent to where it literally has to roll and bounce around. And it's so silly. I love it. I don't know, because this is another deal where it's a monster from the desert, and so there's likely sand involved. Maybe. Okay, regular Tigrex. Regular Tigrex? Oh my. Eucanlos, basically the icy answer to a Cantor. Not as spiky, more streamlined. Has a similarly goofy chin as Urgan. Also, ice. So, probably has a better chance than a Cantor, but probably not. Velocidrome, just a regular raptor with blue scales and red claws and crest. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes simplistic is best. Less is more. And I need to take my meds, because I forgot to do that earlier. Anyway, real quick, white Monoblos. If I was only just considering regular Monoblos, I think the white sheen of a white Monoblos is so pretty, so majestic. So that's gonna bump them up to oh my. We'll have to be mindful of the sand, but I'm willing to I'm willing to take a shot. Medication. Medication. Medication time. Come on. That's fun. Okay. Continuing on. Yian Garuga. It's like Yian Kutku, but like significantly less appealing. I'll just straight up say, as far as fighting Yian Garuga goes, I hate this thing. I can't stand it. It's loud, it has poison barbs, it has fire, wild movements. Just, ugh. And honestly, I would probably carry that sentiment in the bedroom, too. See, Kutku is at least cute. You know, you could be able to feel at least something, some charm out of Kutku. In which case, I don't know. Obviously, like, I feel more towards blue Kutku for the colors. Regular Kutku is just kind of meh to me, so maybe. Regular Zamtrios, I think... Obviously, the whole thing with the sharkness, sharky mouth, but also a little bit froggy, but also ice, which I'm not big on the ice. For Zamtrios, it's like pick your poison. Like, neither option is the best. I think just with the involvement of water, though, that'll put Zamtrios just above Tiger Stripe, or like Tiger Shark. Zinogre, similar problems as Stygian, except instead of dragon, it's just regular lightning, which I like lightning, but I think red lightning is cooler. Again, like similar hang-ups with like its physique. I'm just not terribly into it. And I'm kind of picky about any sort of like wolf-like creatures too. It'll probably go below Stygian in the maybes. Egnactor! I like Egnactor, I think they're cool, but as I said way earlier, I prefer ice over lava, and so I probably have to admire from a distance. Amatsu, the Typhoon Elder Dragon. You know how I was talking about sex in the sky in the midair? Amatsu could get it done. Amatsu's cool. Big storm riding dragon. Arzuros is a big old bear. Big bear loves their honey. Probably gives very good bear hugs. However, they constantly loll their tongues out, which, yeah, it's cute, but as far as, like, sexiness goes, I don't know, like, I'm probably gonna get, I might very well get cancelled for this, but, Ahegao faces, they don't really do it for me. It's usually like, I can take either, you know, rolling the eyes back or a lolling tongue, but not both. In which case, I tend to prefer, like, a rolling eyes. So again, like, lolling tongue, that kind of ducks some points, but it's Arzuros. It's just a bear. Very, very cozy if you're able to look past the, like, the rigid, arm plates. I'm gonna put them in maybe. Astalos! Just a lightning bug dragon. I think it's sleepy time for me too. It's been so fun though. We love you. I love you, Stellar! Sweet dreams, my lovely. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I will try to sort through the remainder of these monsters as best I can. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm over halfway done, though. Anyhow, Astalos. Lightning bug wyvern. Super cool. Obviously I'm fond of the lightning. And, like, the glowing patterns on the wings, the crest, the tail. Oh, it's so cool. That said, it might be a little rough. You know, Astalos tends to play rough. So I'm gonna leave that to maybe. Blangonga, Snow Monkey, big saber teeth, strong. I don't think I'm as into Blangonga as I am into Congalala. And of course, the inclusion of snow. Which, like, at least stink can be remedied. Snow, you're feeling it for a little while, at least. You know, you're feeling the chills. Also kind of aggressive, so I gotta say, probably not. Probably not. Bulldrome, just a big. I like the tusks. I don't know, Bulldromes just seems kind of boring to me. It's like, yeah, big pig, but that's really all there is to them. You know, they try to charge at you every once in a while. They're usually bad at it. Yeah, I think I feel more pity for Bulldrome than anything else. Crystal Beard Uragon. There's no stank. That's a plus. And the shinies are nice. But it's still Uragon, and Uragon for the most part doesn't really impress me that much. I'm gonna go maybe. maybe. Like, maybe just once. Maybe. Perhaps. Possibly. Deadeye Ian Garuga. So, unlike regular Garugas, Deadeye has like a history. Like a history of previous battles with other hunters, and it's survived all of them. That said, it's still a Garuga, and a nastier Garuga that, you know, charges even faster, I think has an even deadlier poison. Let me think. On the other hand, like, the whole, you know, because they lost one of their eyes in one of the previous battles, and so they only have one left, but like it's like sharpshooter vision, and the whole, like, anything to do with sharpshooting is really appealing to me. I think that's really cool. But still, it's a Garuga. Grits my teeth. Maybe. Dread King Rathalos. With a title like that, how could I not at least put him in oh my? A bit more adept with the flames, and I think there's even some inclusion of blast powder, but like, Dread King. And then naturally there's Dread Queen Rathian, who's much more adept with the poison. And I think it's an even stronger poison than regular Rathian. But still. Drill Tusk Tetsu. Drill Tusk Tetsu. Froggy. So, off the bat, I might be open to it. I think the title mainly just comes from the kind of rocks that they handle, that she handles. Which, I mean, they're neat tricks, but I don't know how applicable that would be in under the covers. Heck, I'll do maybe. Duramboros, Dobo. I know I spoke ill of the rusty subspecies, but Dobo? I think Dobo's cute. I think she's charming. And so, if there was a category between oh my and maybe, I'd probably fit Dobo right in there. But I'm gonna round up in this case. Gammoth. Very big, you know, flexible trunk. I think the trunk has spines on it, though. Also, you know, being based around a mammoth and whatnot, you know, it's the whole deal with ice and snow. I'm not fond. That said, I think gammoths are always explicitly female. At least the ones you fight. You know, they're matriarchs. So, also, I think, like, elephant sort of creatures are kind of underrated as far as attractiveness goes, but that might just be me. So, I'm gonna put her at maybe. Glavenus, a dinosaur with a great sword for a tail. Conceptually, incredibly awesome. Let's see. That might make things difficult, depending on which positions we take, though. So... Also, there's fire. There's like exploding fire globules. Think. It's gonna be a maybe. This is another drone, but I can't remember their name. I think it starts with a P? P? P. I'm not seeing them. J? No. R? No. I'm not gonna bother. Anyway, it's basically a kangaroo raptor, which, it's cute. It's cute, but that's about the most I can really say about it. I mean, I guess the bouncing could theoretically help. And make for some interesting positions. Oh my. Grimclaw Tigrex. I love the blue. But, well, actually, if I remember right, Grimclaw, like, presses into the ground and steam vents, like, just shoot up out of the ground, which, like, that's bloody awesome. That said, I don't think I like Grimclaw as much as Brute. But I'll give her a chance. Oh my. Oh, Brachydios Deviant, I forget what it's called. There's a lot of... Wait, did I say Brachydios? I meant Glavenus. Glavenus. Here we go. Hellblade! Hellblade Glavenus. That's right. Yeah, it's, for the most part, pretty similar to regular Glavenus, except now there's an inclusion of blast powder, and I think that would probably put a little bit more of a damper on things. They do look really, really cool, but I gotta say no. It's too much. It's too rough. Lagiacrus, the one and only. Serpentine, aquatic, lightning. Probably not as much as the subspecies, but still goes in oh my. Lagiacrus was my first flagship monster that I've ever encountered, and so I always harbor some love for Lagi. Malfestio! Hoot hoot! I actually think Malfestio could be really interesting. You know, bearing the ability to just deliver total confusion. You know, and mix up your orientation. I think that could make a session, like, really interesting, possibly fun, but also maybe scary. That said, they also bear the ability to just put you to sleep. So, there's a bit of give and take. I know I'm also not normally into birds. I think as long as, you know, I'm not put to sleep too quickly. Alfastio can sit in the oh my's. Mizutsune! Absolutely. Mizutsune would be so much fun. Mizutsune is all slippery and soapy with the bubbles, and they're hardly even aggressive. Like, they're just playful a lot of the time. And they have, like, the tail bristles. It's like you're slipping and sliding. It's like the perfect lube monster. Like, as far as conventional lewd times go, Mizutsune is basically the pinnacle, the absolute peak of a fun time. Nakarkos. So, here's the thing. Nakarkos is a cephalopod. You know, so cephalopods mean tentacles. And that said, they also have the capacity for bioluminescence, which is very pretty and very impressive. They also have a beam attack that is incredibly cool. That said, they emit sort of an ooze that's kind of sticky, and they cover themselves in bones 24/7, which, yeah, har bone, but, like, that's incredibly uncomfortable at best. And, you know, if you're stuck in the oozy substance and you move the wrong way, you're covered in bones yourself, and it's all rigid, and, you know, it's constantly, like, rubbing up and poking you in all sorts of spots, and it's cumbersome to move. It's... Nakarkos, you kind of need to get your act together. I know bones are kind of your thing, you know, and the two-headed, like, bone dragon puppet illusion thing is neat. It's a neat gimmick at first, but, like, you know, kind of need to shape up. Yeah, call me if there's, like, a more tolerable subspecies. Nargacuja! Like, the most cat-like wyvern you could probably ever find. Very, very sleek black fur. The spiky tail, and, you know, the ejecting of the sharp scales is a bit of a takeaway, but also, again, the eye trails. The eye trails drive me crazy. They're so... I love that shit so much. I never get sick of it. So, Narga is going in... Oh my. Nibble Snarf. with a name like that, it's not a promising start. Similar to Gobble, very big mouth, so not really capable of much. Not very dexterous. Is burrowed in the sand near constantly, and so it would essentially all have to happen in the sand, and so nope. Plesioth. I was willing to give green Plesioth a chance, but regular... I look at regular Plesioth and I just get hungry. Like, I just want to eat them. So no. The Arzuros Deviant, whatever it's called. Was it like Blood Fur? Red Helm Arzuros. Red Helm. Basically Arzuros, but more extra. Bears kind of a reddish tint with age. And so, you know, bigger, tougher, stronger. I don't know. I think it'll be just a maybe. Royal Ludroth at long last. I think Royal Ludroth would actually be pretty decent, all things considered, especially with the mane. The mane that's all, you know, moist, wet, spongy, really fun to play with. Just have to be careful for like the rest of the body because it's probably like rough scales, but also like very aquatic, you know, very proficient with water, which again, it can't beat like Mizutsune lube, but you know, I think there's a capacity for something good. Shogun Cianator. I think I'm less interested in this thing. More like I'm even less interested in them than I am in Hermitor. Like they're very similar, except Hermitor at least has proper pincers. Cianator is just blades. Which, like, yeah, there might be utility in that, but, like, there's no dexterity. Anyway, we have a different Nargacuja. It's a deviant. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically, I guess, like, an elderly Narga. Which I'd have to say is probably oh my. Very, very skilled with the tail spikes. You know, perform some tricks. And also, we love a MILF in these parts, so. Snow Baron Lagombi. I like Bonnie. I like Bunny, but this also means more snow. So I think unlike the regular, I think I'm gonna have to stick them in just maybe. Stonefist Hermitor. I'm not impressed. It's just a regular Hermitor, but with a bigger pincer. Let's see, is this Thunderlord Zinogre? Thunderlord kinda scares me with how energized it is. Like, it's even kind of adapted sort of a Mountain Dew green or yellow. because it's technically yellow. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I always forget this one's name. It's Armadillo Dude. Rolls up. Spews paralytic saliva. I can't think of it. I can't think her name. Is it in the L's? No. Oh well. Oh well. So again, armadillo. So mostly hard-shelled, but for the most part it's fairly smooth. So take notes, Gravios. Also, long tongue. That's a plus. I did say paralytic saliva. So, like, that could be problematic. It depends on what gets paralyzed, I guess. Whether it's motor or sensory nerves. Or both. But also, sadly, it has that same weaponized stank as with any of the other monsters, like Congalala, Steel, Ergon. Yeah, I'm not fond of the stinky. So, almost. So close. So close to being considered. I can't overlook the stink. Atal Ka. I haven't actually fought Atal Ka because I don't actually have Generations U, because I don't have a Wii U, because nobody bought them. But Atal Ka, if I remember right, is like a praying mantis crossed with a spider, and she like spins her webs to just create like a tapestry of various like metallic parts and debris to just create her own like giant mecha. And it's like, is this Monster Hunter? Is this still Monster Hunter? But yeah, she's a queen. I love her. Do I love her more than Nursilla? Yeah, I do. Barrios. I like Barrios quite a bit. But I know I addressed that there are certain issues between Barrios and her subspecies. It's basically a choice between sand or ice, once again. In which case I would probably lean towards ice? It's kind of a similar case to Zamtrios, so it's still just a maybe, but you know, probably a step above the sand subspecies. Also, I took notice that there are two Baroth icons, so it didn't stop at just Jaggy, I guess. But speaking of Baroth, Mud. That's about it. It's just Mud. Mud dinosaur. I can't say I'm really into that. So... not feeling it. Yeah, Jade Barros, I'd be willing to humor, but not regular. And the same is said for that Barros too. A Diablos deviant. What is it called? Diablos. Bloodbath Diablos. So, I can't remember if this is supposed to be technically a regular Diablos or a black Diablos. Because I know black Diablos is always female. Whereas with regular Diablos, it could be either or. But like Bloodbath? Bloodbath kind of tickles my, my angry lesbian senses. Like, she plays rough, but I think it might be the kind of rough that I'm into. So, I think I'm gonna put her in oh my. The Deviant Astalos, which is basically more lightning, more wild, more extreme, just more everything. In which case, it looks really cool. But yeah, it's like, it's still just all the same issues, probably even, like, probably just compound any of the same issues I would have with Astalos. So... I'm gonna put her a step under. And then we have, the Deviant, Gameth, which is just covered in icicles, ice shards, which, you know, maybe regular Gameth had a thing going for her, but not this time. Too much ice. Geodrome. It's Velocidrome, but with ice. Ice is really popular. Yeah, I can't say I'm too interested. Yeah, no. You lack too much of an identity in my eyes. Lao Shanlong. So Lao Shanlong is an enormous dragon, but has nothing to do with sand. Thankfully. Big enough to climb on, in any which way. Very round belly. I imagine it's quite smooth, quite comfy. Mouth is a little toothy, but yeah, you know what? I'd humor it, possibly. The Deviant for Malfestio. I think the main difference is, like, this one can turn invisible, just similar to Lucent Nargacuja, which, on its own, again, that's really interesting. Oh. Paired up with the Confusion. That would be a ride! Wow! Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely open to it. I think this is Rustclaw Seanator. Definitely leaning into, like, these claws are blades, which you're just making them sharper, which makes an even worse case, so no. Soulseer Mizutsune. Basically a Mizutsune that is blind, or that has been blinded, and uses the lube bubbles to detect enemies. please and pray alike. I mean, it's still lube, so... yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I think this is Valstrax. A jet propulsion dragon. That's... It's a cool concept. I think that's about it, though. I can't imagine it's all that helpful for bedroom purposes. Although, you know, the scales and such are very streamlined in a way that might lend themselves to, you know, easier contact, smoother physical contact. So, maybe? Maybe. Who the fuck are you? I think this is like when Monster Hunter World crossed over with The Witcher, which I don't know anything about The Witcher, so I don't know what this is. And I think this one is like a variant of that same creature. I have no clue, and so I will not rate. Anjanath. Anjanath is kind of weird to me. It's like, starting out, they seem like just like a regular sort of T-Rex kind of deal, but you know, then you have like the inflamed schnoz, which just looks kind of gross to me. You know, and then there's the fact that it constantly sneezes out mucus, flammable mucus. So, I can't say I'm too into that. Azure Rathalos. I love me some blue. So, yeah, Rathalos might be male, but it's dragon. It's dragon. Basilgoose. Basilgoose is so funny to me. A bombardier dragon. Just lobbing volatile, explosive chin shells, seeds, whatever they are. I can't imagine that it would be too fun a time to get exploded into a million pieces. Basilgoose will be fine. I will be everywhere across the world simultaneously. So I can't, no. I don't remember this guy's name, but I know he comes from Final Fantasy. I guess by technicality, stick them in Hoomst. Black Diablos! There's my girl. My devil girl. Yeah, there's a lot of sand involved, and she's a fan of rough play, but, you know, I feel like I would try my best to adapt, just for her. Okay, regular Devil Joe at long last. I think, obviously, it would be the same problems as with Savage Devil Joe, but just to a lesser extent. In which case, I'm still not into it. Regular Diablos. Maybe. I know Diablos of any variety, they tend to have some anger issues. But I'm not gonna take back my ranking of Black Diablos now. Is this a Dodogama? I think it's called? A big rock-chewing lizard. He's so cute. I don't know if I would want to screw. I don't know if I would want to screw. But very cute. Yeah, I think it's cute in the same way, like a puppy is cute. So, yeah. Great Gyros. Snake-like, not entirely snake. So much so that it's not quite snake enough. Also, paralytic fangs. And they spend all of their time in the Rotten Vale, so they probably stink something fierce, just passively. I can't say yes to that. Great Jagras! So, I mean, I know for starters, Great Jagras is specifically male, but also, I'm not into vor, but if I was, I know Great Jagras would be the prime candidate for that. Just swallow whole, keep you in his pouch, and just trundle along. I don't know. I don't think I'm terribly into that. I mean, my conundrum is that, you know, I'm not into vor, but I do like oral stuff. Like, I'm into different, like, kinds of oral play. This one would be a bit much for me, though, so I don't think so. Giratotus. Mud fish. Mud fish. Mud fish. No. In my eyes, that's even worse than Baroth. Kieran! Lightning Unicorn. Probably a similar ranking to Orochi, right? Yeah. So majestic. So rare. Kula-Yaku. Kula-Yaku looks a little too dopey for my tastes. Very dexterous with those fingers, though. He can hold on to eggs. I don't know. There's just not a lot to them. Yeah, I don't think so. Kolv Taroth. An elder dragon that literally coats herself in gold. What a fucking queen. Quest failed all the way. Also, majestic horns. I think she's involved with fire to an extent. I mean, she would have to be to be able to wear a gown of gold, but, like, yes, ma'am. Please. Kushladara. Okay, the non-rusted variety. Now I can properly think. The mouth is a little toothy. The wind aura might be a bit... Well, I know I said that, you know, air sex might be interesting, but the wind aura would just kind of be constant. which I don't know is necessarily a good thing. Like, if you're on the ground and they're topping, you would just get blown straight into the ground, and I think it would probably be impossible to move. That said, the metal coat is very shiny, very cool, and probably very smooth. So it's probably going to be a maybe. Lavasioth. Lava. Fish. Lava fish. Lava fish. That's even worse than Jiro. Even worse than mudfish. Legiana! Legiana! Legiana's so pretty. I like her cries too. Like her shrieks. There's an issue of ice, but, you know, she is so majestic. She has such gorgeous wings and gorgeous, are they crests? Head crests? I'm not sure. But, like, she's so pretty. I'm willing to tolerate the cold for Legiana. Not quite at the top, but definitely, I definitely will remember Legiana. Lunastra. Lunastra. Explicitly female. Very lion-like. Very blue. Very regal. Very fiery. And I am not sure, but there might be blast powder involved too. I think I'd be open to it. You know, normally when it comes to like mammal-looking creatures, particularly like dogs and cats, I can be a bit picky, but for Lunastra, I could probably get into it. Nergigante, absolutely not. Too spiky. Too many spike. So spike. Also kind of rough. I don't want to risk nothing with this thing. Odogaron. The claws are kind of freaky. And also it looks kind of fleshy, which kind of unnerves me. Kind of makes me uncomfortable. So that's probably gonna be a no. Very agile. There is that, but I think overall too unappealing. Palumu! Big, puffy bat. So soft. Would probably be excellent aftercare. And at first impressions, appears quite cute until it snarls at you. But even so, you know, the fact that it's so fluffy and it floats about in the air, like, I would definitely want to cuddle up with a Palumu. I don't know so much about the bang business, but the aftercare would be magnifique. So I'd probably be a maybe. Pink Rathian. Pink Rathian. A little more agile than a regular Rathian. I think I would stick them in Oh My. Because we still love a dragon lady. Puke Puke. They have a long, dexterous tongue. That's a big plus. They tend to spit out poison, though. I don't know about that. As far as, like, lizard comparisons go, I know Chameleos is closest to a chameleon, but I also think of chameleons when I think of when I see Puke Puke. But I think Puke Puke is cuter with it. And so I think that's maybe. Radobon, probably not. You know, it's like Uragon, but with bones. Spiky bones at that. It can't be very pleasant. Okay. The original mascot of the game, Rathalos. King of the Skies. I think compared to the subspecies, or even the Deviant and Dread King, I think it would just be a maybe. Just a maybe. Just because I know all the other variants are so much more impressive in some regard. So much more appealing to me. Rathian! Just the OG Rathian. Oh my. I know I said I'm not normally into greens, but you know, she has like a forest green, and it's kind of pleasant in its own right. Teostra, the male counterpart to Lunastra. I know there's definitely fire, definitely blast powder. I think... I don't know. I don't know what it is that I'm willing to tolerate with Lunastra that I just can't with Teostra, but Teostra will sit in maybe. Tobi Kadachi, a wolf lizard with little sparks of lightning, very agile, also with like a little skin membrane to glide just a little bit. I think if I remember right, their head is shaped similarly to a snake's, but without the fangs. So let's go maybe. Tsitsiyaku, a dinosaur that can flash you. I don't know. If it was just a matter of displaying the crests, that would be one thing. You know, because in my eyes, a regular dinosaur would honestly be pretty okay. The flashing, though, the flashing lights, it's just... I don't like it. Settle down on the flashing and we'll talk. And now we just have OG Uragon. I don't think so. Too rocky, too many shapes that just don't really vibe with me. The big chin is silly. Lots of rocks. A little bit of fire. So, no. Valhazak. So, I think Valhazak is probably my favorite Elder Dragon of World. One of them, at least. Definitely my favorite Elder Dragon to fight in that game. As far as attractiveness goes, there's basically nothing salvaging at Valhazak. they have like a super creepy, like, deep sea eel face where they have like two jaws at the same time, like one outside, one inside. And then they're wrapped around in the skins of dead creatures, which is kind of repulsive. And then they also foster like decaying bacteria that just speeds up the decaying process and makes it actively harmful to be close to them unless you had some sort of special antibiotic. Valazak is not a good time at all. Probably one of the worst. Anyway, with only 2 left, we started with Elder Dragons and we're ending with Elder Dragons. What's it called again? Starts with an X. Xenochiva. That's it. Xenochiva. Xenochiva is my other favorite Elder Dragon of World. I haven't played all the way through Icebreak yet, or Iceborne, so I'm mixing up Iceborne with Sunbreak. I haven't played through all of Iceborne yet, so I'm not well acquainted with any other Elder Dragons that have shown up. So for now, I would say Xenochiva, along with Valhazak, one of my favorite Elder Dragons. Xenochiva is so unique and big and so pretty. So pretty, and literally just fires pure beams of, like, energy at you. And, like, all the wispy wings, and it's so pretty. It's just, I love Xenochiva. But I'm trying to think. I know that Xenochiva, like, emerged out of this sort of, like, cocoon sort of deal. And so that makes me wonder, is Xenochiva effectively a baby? And so shouldn't be counted? I don't know. But I think to be on the safe side, I'm gonna say no. In case of baby, no. And then we have Zora Magdaros, probably by far the biggest monster in the lineup. Far too big, I think, even for walking around and traversing across its back and body to even really be appealing. Not to mention, like, the surface is entirely, like, craggy and rocky, so you can't even make an argument for, like, you know, there might be soft skin spots. Like, Zora Magdaros is just all igneous rock, basically. It's just a walking volcano. And so... Also, the dangling beard. I can't really stand that beard, so it's gonna be a flat no. And that's it. That is all she wrote. I probably should have started stream earlier if I knew it was gonna go this long. I kind of have a tendency to do that, I'm starting to realize. Anything that seems simple and quick on the surface is just much longer than initially anticipated. Okay, so I guess to end off stream, I will go one by one of each monster that I've ranked in each category, starting from the bottom. At Whomst, we have these three, 2 from The Witcher, the other from Final Fantasy. It's just, I can't even... Who are they? I hardly know anything about them. In the no category, we have Gogmazios, Giganox, Gobble, Great Baggy, Green Nargacuja, Jen Moran, Purple Ludroth, Rusty Duramboros, Steel Uragon, Ucanlos, Acantor, Basarios, Black Gravios, Cephadrome, Chameleos, Darren Moran, Daimyo Hermitor, Desert Celtis, Furious Rajang, Gendrome, Gravios, Gypceros, Red Kezu, Plum Hermitor, Purple Gypceros, Raging Brachydios, Rajang, Ruby Basarios, Rusted Kushladara, Savage Deviljho, regular Celtis, Seregios, Yangaruga, Egnactor, Blangonga, Boldrome, Hellblade Glavenus, Nakarkos, Nibblesnarf, Plesioth, Shogun Cianator, Stonefist Hermitor, Thunderlord Zinogre, Volvidon, that was his name, Volvidon, Baroth, the Deviant Gammoth, Geodrome, Rustblade Cianator, Anjanath, Basilgoose, Deviljho, Dodogama, Great Gyros, Great Jagras, Gyrototus, Kilayaku, Lavazioth, Nergigante, Odogaron, Radobon, Uragon, Valhazak, Xenojiva, and Zoramagdaros. In Maybe, we have Dire Morales, Baleful Giganox, Great Jaggy, Great Roggy, Green Plesioth, Jade Baroth, Barioth, Sand Barioth, Ash Ketchawacha, Berserk Tetsucabra, Brachydios, Emerald Congalala, Desert Celtis Queen, Molten Tigrex, Monoblos, Naharala, Shrouded Nursula, Stygian Zinogre, Zamtrios, Tiger Stripe Zamtrios, Yankutku, Arzuros, Astalos, Deviant Astalos, Crystalbeard Urgon, Deadeye Garuga, Drill Tusk Tetsukabra, Gammoth, Glavenus, Red Helm Arzuros, Snow Baron Lagambi, Lao Shenlong, Valstrax, Diablos, Kushladara, Palumu, Puke, Rathalos, Teostra, Tobi Kadachi, and Tsitsiyaku. In Oh My, we have Crimson Fatalis, Cedius, Crimson Kurapeko, Glacial Egnactor, Golden Cedius, Harrowed Genmoran, or Hallowed, Ivory Lagiacrus, Kurapeko, Blue Kutku, Iodrome, Ketchawacha, Lagambi, Nursula, Orochi Kirin, Celtis Queen, Silver Rathalos, Tetsucabra, Tidal Naharala, Tigrex, Velocidrome, White Monoblos, Dread King Rathalos, Dread Queen Rathian, Duramboros, this one I forget his name, but Kangaroo Lizard, Grimclaw Tigrex, Lagiacrus, Malfestio, Nargacuja, Royal Ludroth, Deviant Nargacuja. I think it's Bloodhorn? Bloodhorn? Diablos? Deviant Malfestio. Azure Rathalos. Black Diablos. Kieran. Legiana. Lunastra. Pink Rathian and Rathian. And lastly, at the very top, the monsters I would most want to screw, or have screw me. Elatrion, White Fatalis, Abyssal Lagicris, Lucent Nargacuja, Brute Tigrex, Chaotic Gormagala, Dalamadur, Gold Rathian, Gorimagala, Shagaramagala, Shah Dalamadur, Amatsu, Mizutsune, Atalka, Soulseer Mizutsune, and Kulv Taroth. There we go! I will probably save and share on Twitter, probably Tumblr too. Oh my, that has been a lot of pontificating on monsters in the bedroom. But that was fun. Hopefully I will be in a mood to do something like this again, because this was fun. If y'all wouldn't mind that kind of thing, it would definitely be an occasional thing, though. I'm a little bit bashful. I'm a bashful little froggy about my intimate interests. My interests of intimacy and sexual gratification. But anyhow, this was fun, and pretty much all I have in store for tonight. I will say, this week, I do have Wednesday off, so there's a chance of another stream in only a couple of days. Maybe. Just maybe. Other than that, you could probably, most likely, count on me streaming again next Friday. I don't know what I will get up to, but I never do. But y'all seem to vibe with that anyway. Anyway, it is getting late. I wish all the nightly comforts upon my lily pals as we descend into the night. That said, of course, I will be carrying all your wearied bodies over to another lily pal in the form of a raid. Yes, yes. It's raid time. I'm gonna have just a different raid message tonight. Here. It's nothing too... It's nothing, too... I don't know how to describe it. It's different, but it's nothing special. Froggy hops out of the darkness. And this way, everybody can participate in the raid message, because that emote is free to use. Anyway, who are we gonna raid tonight? I know one thing's for sure. I need to get stuff to eat. I need to fill my froggy belly. Ooh! Moth Mom is playing Monster Hunter World. Perfect. We shall raid the Moth Mom. Mrs. Mothmom. I put a period there on instinct. Okay. From the sound of it, she's trying to grind like Iana. She's playing Monster Hunter World. I don't know if she has Iceborne, but it's a relevant raid at the very least. So let's go. So, Lily Pals, as I just mentioned, you can see me possibly on Wednesday, but most likely on Friday on my socials of various varieties. My Tumblr, my co-host, my Mastodon, because I'm trying to migrate off of Twitter. Eventually. At some point, I'm hoping. And then also VStream. I'm hoping to do stuff over on VStream as I migrate off of Twitch as well. So I hope you all support me over on those sites, in those places, those platforms. Thank you all so much, Lily Pals, for indulging in my monster interests. Oh yeah, Swimmy!